At the beginning, most gyms were just using paper towel, spray bottles that were all over the gym. You know, half the time you couldn't find a spray bottle. Obviously everyone's touching that same spray bottle. So it was pretty clear that wipes were the preferred option, but it's something that, because we got in early, I suppose we were the ones that grew the market at that time. When we first started, I had a gym and Jared had an independent gym as well. That's how we knew each other.
It never sat well with me. I was paying so much money for these wipes, and at the time there was only one supplier in Australia. So I exchanged a couple of emails to a couple of guys in the US, and I sort of said, look, have you got anyone in Australia distributing this product? Not really knowing Rob too well, but sort of thought, well, maybe he'd be interested in a bit of a side venture.
Early on, obviously, it was very small quantities. We didn't have a long-term plan at that point. We thought, let's just give this a crack. And we figured, look, if this doesn't really take off, it's something we can use in our gyms anyway.
We were getting a better product for a better price. And then we got a website, and then we started getting phone calls from like the Snap Fitness. I had a Snap Fitness up the road from me, which was my competitor, that made an inquiry online. And here I am with my Anytime Fitness t-shirt on, taking a call and selling wipes to the guy up the road. So we knew then, once we started getting those calls from other franchise groups and other gyms, that it was something that could potentially take off.
It's a different beast now, that's for sure. So what would happen is containers would pull up to my street. We would unload the containers, just Jared and I. So we'd pull a ute up to the container, drive it to my garage door, unload it, pull the ute back to the container. And so that would happen every few months or something like that. My garage was full. As far as orders went, I would pack them up, print out con notes, stick them on the cartons, put them in my courtyard, and then every afternoon around 2 or 3 o'clock a courier would rock up and collect them. And it just got to a stage where it was like, this can't continue, because it was just getting bigger volumes. And
I think so. That was 2011, 2012. I think 2013 we started looking around for our own premises, and we got a little storage unit. At this point in time, we were desperate for stock. I mean, we tried to forecast the best we could at the time, but because the growth was pretty consistent, there was times where we might have went a week or two without wipes at all. It was a Saturday morning, I remember it clearly, and Rob called me. The container was due to arrive about 8 o'clock, and Rob called me about 7 and says, mate, I've got some bad news. Our container was, it come off the port. It was being transferred from the port to the holding yard, and 2 trucks collided on Port Road, and unfortunately both drivers were killed. In all honesty, like, our loss was nothing compared to others, so we never really got down in the dumps about it or got upset by it. I mean, it was definitely some adversity, but we just waited and waited for the call so that we could go in and actually view it.
We were absolutely desperate for stock at that time. We were telling people, like, people were desperate for their wipes, and we were part shipping them 1 roll when they might have ordered 5 cartons or something like that.
We'd planned to unload the container that morning and start shipping out cartons that Monday.
It was a horrific scene. We salvaged a little bit, but there wasn't much of it we could use. We worked out at the end of the day, we probably lost 100 grand, maybe a little bit more. Prior to this happening, we'd been sort of looking around to, making our own, having more control. And then when this happened, it was really the catalyst, right, we've got to do this, and we've got to do it now.
So it was basically on the next plane to China to start to build that relationship with the factory directly.
Leading into Chinese New Year, we had a lot of stock, so we thought we were great.
They get very little holidays over there, but over that Chinese New Year period, they all just basically put down the tools.
So we always plan for that, knowing that there's going to be probably 4 to 6 weeks where we've got no stock coming in, so you build up your stock before that, and then that sees you through the Chinese New Year, and then you start again. And so we thought we were great, but at that time, Chinese New Year, that was when COVID first hit in China. The areas where factories are, they were all shutting down, but then COVID hit Australia, obviously, and that's just when it went insane. We had no stock, which was kind of good because the gyms closed, but we started getting a lot of interest from other industries like offices and cafes and supermarkets and so on.
At the end of the day, once COVID hit, literally 4 months worth of stock lasted 3 days, 3 or 4 days. Like, we had to shut our website down. So I had people saying, oh, you got to be killing it, you'll be doing so well. And it's like, look, the inquiries are off. I mean, there was one day, I took screenshots of it. I had 76 missed calls on my phone. I just literally couldn't answer the phone because there was just too much coming at me.
We've basically built a foundation over the last 10 years. When COVID hit, we were already established. So there's a lot of competitors that popped up because of COVID. They're going, okay, we can make lots of money in this, and they've just popped up.
Like we started this to help gym owners save money, and we brought the prices down. You know, once COVID hit, obviously volumes went through the roof, so their hygiene costs just went through the roof. You know, and you've got other companies cashing in on it, increasing costs of hand sanitizer, face masks, you know, and whereas we brought our prices down, you know, we just did, and we've kept them low as well. We've just kept them low because we want them to stick with us long term.
Yeah. We would love to be as recognisable outside of the fitness industry as we are in it. I think in the fitness industry, pretty much, I'd say most people know Wow Wipes.
We've just been really consistent with what we've done. We've made some mistakes along the way. This guy is just absolutely anal on everything from the perforation, the packaging.
I couldn't have got a better business partner. It's like, the business would not be where it is now if it wasn't for Jared. So he's a terrier, like he's a sales machine. So
I think that's why we've done so well, is that we've just given really good service. We take pride in what we do, and look, we're definitely not the biggest, but I think we're the best.